I'm Rodney Whittenberg.
And I'm David Heitler-Klevans.
And this is
Music for the New Revolution. The election of 2016. Part 2. Welcome back to Music for the New Revolution. And in episode 2, we are going to be focusing on that wonderful time period from when we woke up from the election and all thought maybe we'd had a nightmare up until the nightmare coming true on Inauguration Day.
It was a nightmare.
It's still a nightmare.
It's still a nightmare. Yeah, so we're going to look at some songs that were written. Basically, our first song we're going to look at was written election night. And I was lucky enough to be in the audience on Inauguration Day and heard it performed live. And that is Frank Turner's Sand in the Gears. And I've been a big Frank Turner fan. Actually, the Rev at my church that I go to, which I really wouldn't call a church, I'm a Universal Unitarian. For those of you who know anything about religion, it's the least religion-y of all religions, would you say, David?
I suppose that's probably true.
Yes, the Quakers were like, those guys are liberal. But my ref turned me on to Frank Turner's music, and I've been a fan ever since. And just seeing him live is a revelation. He's this scrawny English guy who just runs all over the stage and combines singer-songwriter ideas and ways of thinking about music with punk rock, and it's just a lot of fun. And this is the most amazing thing. I just gave him a call and asked him if I could interview him, and he agreed. So here is an interview with Frank Turner on how he came up with Sand in the Gears.
This song's called The Sand in the Gears.
I felt really kind of like physically driven to address the subject in music and in words. It's better that the songs were kind of like pulled out of me by current events, as it were. It's not kind of Rage Against the Machine, you know what I mean? It's not propaganda, but it's songs about that address kind of the current world situation and sort of how I feel about it and how I think most people feel about it, sort of sense of impending doom and dread. And how we respond to that. So that was a sort of general background. I've written the words, and I sort of initially put them to a slightly different set of chords and melody, and with a pretty different feel, and that I wasn't particularly happy with. And I went away on holiday over New Year, took my guitar with me, and I sat on a beach and started messing around with different stylistic and feel approaches to the song, and came up with the current version. And then on the first day of the tour, when we were in Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside of DC, I was playing the song in soundcheck, and I sort of had the idea that the guys in the band might join in for that last section of the song. And I was just sort of playing it through, and everyone was listening, and I pulled out the chords as we went into it, and everybody just sort of joined in, and suddenly we had, a working arrangement of the song. And then I think it was Nigel, my drummer, who just said, "Why don't we play that?" And I said, "Okay, let's play it." And then, of course, that then escalated quickly into, "Why don't we open with it?" And given that we were playing just outside DC on the day of the inauguration, I'm in favor of being bold as an artist, and it seemed like a bold thing to do. So, yeah, we rolled it out. I was pretty nervous that first time that we played it, I have to say. Having not engaged so directly with politics for a long time, and indeed given the place and the time that we were in, I was wondering what the reaction was going to be like, and the reaction was largely overwhelmingly positive, which was a nice thing.
Can't I just spend the next 4 years at a punk show? I want to spend the next 4 years in the front row. 'Cause if the world outside is going to shit, then you will find me in the center of the circle pit. I'm gonna spend the next 4 years at a punk show. Can't I just spend the next 4 years getting wasted? Maybe if I drink enough whiskey shots, I can face it. 'Cause if we're welcoming in World War III, then I'm waving goodbye to my sobriety. I'm gonna spend the next 4 years getting wasted. What do we do if they don't represent us? What do we do? I thought that we were winning the war against the homophobes and the racists. You can't be serious, man. We can't be this fucked. Well, I'm sorry, old friends. I guess it's time to suck it up. Don't go giving up now. Here's what we do. We can't just spend the next 4 years in a safe space. I'm gonna spend the next 4 years getting outraged. So every single day let's find a brand new way to let the motherfuckers know that we can't be swept away. I'm gonna spend the next 4 years on the barricades. The change is gonna come, and there's nothing to be done. The change is gonna come. The only thing to choose is to decide which way you're gonna jump. So don't give in to the hatred, don't give in to the fear. Pour yourself a shot of anger to go with your beer. Let's be the sand in the gears for the next 4 years. Sing it with me. Let's be the sand in the gears for the next 4 years. Everybody. Let's be the sand in the gears for the next 4 years. Let's be the sand in the gears for the next 4 years. Everybody. Let's be the sand in the gears for the next 4 years. Trust me, it's gonna be a long 4 years. Let's be the sand in the gears for the next 4 years. Trust me, it's gonna be a long 4 years. Let's be the sand in the gears for the next 4 years. Trust me, it's gonna be a long 4 years. Let's be the sand in the gears for the next 4 years.
I think the thing that I've forgotten in putting it exactly that way is that, the other function of art is to give expression to ideas that might be common in a community that are hard to express, and there is mileage in doing that, in sort of serving as a kind of lightning rod to a feeling in a room or in a community or in a society and trying to sort of express a common feeling.
I just love that song. It's so cool. And I love how he goes through all the things that he feels and how he feels down and kind of out and like there's no hope. But then, he winds up, he's going to be at the punk rock show and he's going to be, going to making sure that he puts sand in the gears for the next 4 years. And that's just really cool. Frank Turner's an amazing songwriter. And I think there's always that challenge when you try and write something really fast for something that you run the risk of it being not your best work, but I really like that song a lot. And thank you, Frank, for taking the time to talk to me about your process in writing the songs. So up next, David, we have, speaking of songwriters who write songs.
Yeah, so my wife and I had seen this meme on Facebook that I'm sure lots of you have seen. That was a takeoff on the Mary Poppins song, and it said, super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. And Jenny and I thought, oh, we got to write that parody. But before we got to it, speaking of being quick on the draw and getting to these things quickly, Aileen Vance, who's a wonderful songwriter on the West Coast, beat us to it and did a great take on that. And then some of you may have also heard Randy Rainbow went off on that as well and did a great thing. And so a lot of people know that one best because he's got a lot of viewers on YouTube, deservedly so. Anyway, we took Aileen's version and we changed it a little bit. And we originally were writing this before the election, but after the election, even though Jenny, my wife, didn't want to do it anymore because it was so depressing, we've continued doing it and we've adapted it some. So we're going to do it right here live in the studio for you.
Yes. Okay. And here's David. Hi, Jenny. And here's David and Jenny doing Super Callous, Fragile, Sexist, Racist, Braggadocious.
Yeah, say that 10 times fast.
I can't.
The Donald says that he was poor when he was just a lad. He swears he had a humble start and never was a cad. A small loan from his dad gave him a solid business plan, and now he swindles billions out of everyone he can. Oh, super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Even just the thought of him is something quite atrocious. He can yell it louder, but he'll never sound precocious. Super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Did you really mean to vote for this guy? Did you really mean to vote for this guy?
He thinks that just because he's male that it's okay to grope, even if the woman very clearly tells him nope. The way he's talking, he should have his mouth washed up with soap. He thinks that we believe his lies, he must be high on dope.
Oh, super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Even just the thought of him is something quite atrocious. He can yell it louder, but he'll never sound precocious. Super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Did you really mean to vote for this guy? Did you really mean to vote for this guy? When he doesn't like the questions, he labels them attacks. He's got creative numbers and alternative facts. He's the biggest dictator, he'd like to crush dissent. He wants to be our emperor, not our president. Oh, super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Even just the thought of him is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll probably get psychosis. Super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Did you really mean to vote for this guy? Did you really mean to vote for this guy?
This flaming bag of Cheeto hair tells lies like they are gold. He rants and roars and sniffs and screams until we all go cold. As days go by, comparisons to Hitler start to grow. His tiny hands are flapping, looking like he's high on blow.
Oh, super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Even just the thought of him is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll probably get psychosis. Super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Did you really mean to vote for this guy? Did you really mean to vote for this guy? Well, we could laugh at what he says or what he told the crowd, but at day's end we must be sure that he is not allowed to ruin everything and turn our world into a dump. He's the biggest turd we've ever heard. Let's all say no to Trump. No. Oh, super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious. Even just the thought of him is something quite atrocious. He can yell it louder, but he'll never sound precocious. Super callous, fragile, sexist, racist, braggadocious.
All right, Dave and Jenny, that was pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the humor in it.
You know, we got to laugh to keep from crying sometimes.
Yes, we do. This next song I found online, and it's really interesting. In fact, the next two songs we're going to play are written by people who are not American, but wanted to comment on what's going on. And also there is a movement that's happening across the world where people are just afraid of the change that happens. I think we went through this again. We went through this at the beginning of the 20th century where almost we're repeating it. That I never really thought about it until just this moment. I mean, if you look back at the beginning of the 20th century, it was a massive amount of change going on. I mean, it's a 100-year anniversary of the Russian Revolution and World War I and the rise of Nazism in Germany. And it was all around some of the same exact issues of there just not being enough money and people thinking that they're trying to make someone else the cause of all the problems.
Right, the anti-immigrant sentiment. And, yeah.
Here the anti-immigrant segment was huge. A lot of people. One of the things that really drives me crazy when I talk to people on Facebook that really just gets in, is how so many people are just unaware of how anti-Irish, anti-Italian, and anti-Jewish the United States was, and not to mention Chinese and other immigrants coming into this country from the middle of the 1800s up until the middle of the last century.
Yeah, it's especially depressing, I think, when you think of people whose own family members were treated badly, and then when they're no longer feeling that, they turn around and treat other people that way. So and that's where we need that sense of history for people who are of Irish background, of French background, etc., for them to recognize, a commonality with, people who are Mexican today and people from, Middle East. And,
I mean, and it's mind blowing when you see some of the same comments or things said. I mean, I looked up some of the anti-Irish stuff, and it's exactly what's being said today about
they're taking our jobs.
Yeah,
and they're dirty, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's just you're being very polite, David.
Yeah, well,
it's kind.
I don't want to say the ugly stuff myself.
Very, very kind compared to what I found.
It feels bad coming out of my mouth.
And that really does go right into this next song, which not only does it have a strong message, but I just love it. It's not the greatest song in the world, but I love that someone took on sort of the, I'm trying to think of a better way to describe it for people who aren't familiar with this type of music, but there's a very kind of German metal sound, and this is kind of the darker side of that German metal, but what someone decided to do was sort of play with the whole idea of that and make the whole song, the lyrics of the song are really all about being acceptant and being open. And it also points to Germany's past and saying, we are not going to repeat that again because we are going to be tolerant and kind. And it's just so, I mean, the first time I saw it, I just like, this is so freaking awesome. I just love it. So here is Be Deutsch.
Remember, the 9th of November. Broken glass, fire, and plot. I know of no reason why our very own treason should ever be forgot.
Wake up, Deutschland, sleeping beauty. Can you hear your call of duty? The world has gone completely nuts. That's why we're back to help mine shots. Achtung, Germans on the rise. But this time we are fucking nice. Authoritarian, nationalist dorks. So tough with your torches and pitchforks. You are not the people, you are the past. True Germans come for you, better run fast. 10 million bicycle helmets inside. Jack Wolfskin jackets marching through the night. Birkenstocks stomp the ground, munching kebab and muesli, earth-shattering sound.
Guten Tag, the true Germans are here. We are xenophobic's biggest fear. You call for strong leaders, fences and walls, but being like us takes bigger balls. Cause we are nice, liberal, compassionate, considerate, reasonable, social, temperate, peaceful. Say it clear, say it loud. We an election to vote for the best, but we see it more like an IQ test. We've learned our lesson, so take our advice. Hold together, try to be nice and open. Multicultural, modest, helps the weak and poor. Neighbors, tolerant, Grundgesetz, Dosenpfand. Say it clear, say it loud. We are proud of not being proud. Human dignity is unimpeachable. You will learn even either teachable. We are no longer murderers and nice. We come for you in socks and sandals, serving your sun loungers with our towels. Vegan sausage in our bowels.
Hey, you dickheads! Take a good look at these legal citizens of the Bundesrepublik Deutschland in the year 2016. It's perfectly legal for them to do whatever the fuck they want to do. You stupid shit for brains. And do you want to know why? Fuckface? Because they're fucking human beings like you and everyone else. Have you heard of the categorical imperative, asshole? We can. He also was.
Enlightened, responsible, recycle, and recycle. Weltmeister, forgiving, Weizenbier, never forget, Fahrvergnügen, freedom of speech, European, unity, Fanta, diversity, selfless, we are Germany.
Not you, we!
Awesome. Be kind. I love that. The next selection, we're only going to play an excerpt of, and it's really important with these songs because they really kind of do depend on the video, which is a really interesting thing, how some of these songs just don't really hold up when we just play them. And this is another one because there's so much stuff in the video that kind of explains the song. And again, this is another example of not necessarily the best protest song in the world, but I really like these girls, and it's interesting because they are a band that specializes in doing political music, probably more and have more to lose by doing it than most bands who do political music.
They're very famous for being put in prison in Russia. So, yeah, they definitely have taken risks that way. I would agree with you, though, Rodney, about this song. And I think if you, I really recommend you watch the video of Be Deutsch. I'm not sure I would say the same of this Pussy Riot song because I found it uncomfortable, and I don't mean that in a good way. I thought there were a lot of real problems with the video.
What were some of your problems?
Well, I think my biggest one was that, first of all, like you said, the song isn't great, so the song doesn't really make its point in the most effective way, I think. But I think my biggest problem I have with the video of this, and I don't know if we even said the name of the song yet. It's called "Make America Great Again," and they have people dressed up as Trump and stuff like that, and sort of fascist like prison guards and things like that. But there's a lot of kind of sexualized stuff in it linked with violence, and that can be done to make a point. In this case, I didn't think it worked. I thought it just was uncomfortable.
It's just uncomfortable.
For me, anyway.
Yeah, and that actually would lead me to it's clear this podcast is being created way after this time period we're talking about. So more recently, we just had the whole episode with Kathy Griffin. And I guess, do you have a line for Art? Because to me, when I saw the reaction to Kathy Griffin and also to Bill Maher over the past weekend, it really made me think that if Mark Twain was alive, he would get killed. I mean, not to that extent, but if Mark Twain was alive, or Oscar Wilde, or Mort Saul, Lenny Bruce, there's just no. It just seems like on some level, we are not allowed to make art that how do I say this in a way in which I mean that there's a line that we're not allowed to cross as artists, which didn't used to be there when times were actually in some ways more conservative. You know, when you think about, I mean, it is Paul Robeson singing "Old Man River" as it was considered like this amazingly bold and out there protest. Is where, how do I ask, is today's equivalent Kathy Griffin holding up the head of Trump, or is it not? I mean, where's the line?
Yeah, well, I think that's a tricky question, but I guess, you know, one thing I just want to say is my reaction also about that whole thing with Kathy Griffin is something I saw out there that I really agree with, which is if you were not outraged by all the lynching images of Obama, you do not get to be outraged by this. And I think that is totally true. The hypocrisy of the right in going ballistic about this, but you can put, you know, liberal politicians' photos in crosshairs as if they're meant to be shot, which Sarah Palin celebrated, you know, and they weren't upset by that, so they really don't get to be upset by this. But I still think your other question is more challenging, and obviously it's a personal answer. Everybody's got to have their own idea of where the line is, and I kind of think both things are true. I think in one way there is a sense that, you know, there are certain lines that are not to be crossed. Some of that I think is good. I mean, the attacks on so-called political correctness, I mean, I think it should be unacceptable, you know, publicly to be openly racist or hateful towards, you know, various groups. But I think that a lot of times people act as if when people criticize things that are offensive, that they're stopping them from being able to be said. And that's not the same thing.
Right.
You know, so I can say I disagree with this song or this speech or this comedy routine, but I'm not, you know, saying it shouldn't exist or they shouldn't be allowed to say it. And I think even with a lot of these things, there's outcry. We have the right to have outcry over things that we find offensive. But, you know, there's a difference between saying, you know, that should be censored officially. So, and some people do come out and say that.
Yeah,
but,
like,
you know.
I think there's a big difference between Kathy Griffin doing what she did by holding up, doing basically a performance art piece. And I have to be honest, I haven't seen it. I've only seen the reaction to it, but I read about it. And so seeing her do this photo thing, this esoteric art piece holding up the head of Trump, that's very different than Bill O'Reilly actually sexually assaulting women.
Sure.
They're two completely different things. It's not that he said it, it's that he actually is accused of doing it. And I would say the same thing's true for Bill Cosby. So, so they're different. And I think that people like to sort of conflate the two or bring the two together. And then I also think, you know, wow, I mean, just all of my heroes, from the Clash to the Sex Pistols to Lenny Bruce and George Carlin, and I mean, yeah, they crossed the line a lot of times, but they're also smart in how they do it. And I think that would be the one thing I would say about Kathy Griffin is that it just wasn't that smart.
Well, and I think the other question is, are people crossing the line because they feel the need to, because it's important to do it? Or is it just to cross the line? Like, I mean, do we push boundaries because they need to be pushed, or do we just push boundaries because we're trying to be as extreme as we possibly can be?
Yeah,
and those are difficult to parse out as well. But I think, it's worth, you know, in terms of how effective or how necessary the extremeness is. That's a question that comes to me, because sometimes I see people and I'm just thinking, yeah, you know, you just don't need to go there. You know, there's
other
no
ways
need.
to go there. There's other ways to get to that point, and
more effective.
More effective. And I have to say a little shout out to my friend Josh, who introduced me to Harlan Ellison, the science fiction writer. And I've never seen someone take someone down so brilliantly and brutally with words I needed to go look up after I was. So I'm like, what do you call that guy? Whoa, I don't know what that word means. I don't know what 10 of those words mean. So there is ways of doing it that are smart and cutting and biting without being base. And I think that's one of the things that I miss. You know, Patti Smith, and I could keep going down the list. I mean, even, you know, Vance. But there was a smartness to the lyric. It wasn't just all teen angst or angry for being angry. There was some smartness there. So and so all of that to say, here's an example of what not we're talking about. Here's an excerpt of Pussy Riot with "Make America Great."
What do you want your world to look like? What do you want it to be? Do you know that the wall has two sides and nobody is free? Did your mama come from Mexico? Papa come from Palestine? Sneaking all through Syria, crossing all the borderlines. Let other people in. Listen to your women. Stop killing black children. Make America great again.
No more fat pigs.
So one of the things that we'd like to add to the show is a little segment we like to call the Throwback Segment.
Yeah, so, even though we mostly want to focus on more recent music that takes on political topics, each segment starting now, we're going to do a little bit about a couple older pieces, and but that connect with things that are happening now as well.
So my pick for the Throwback Segment is one of my favorite songwriters from the early part of the 20th century. And I was thinking about the inauguration when I think of this song, even though it wasn't written about an inauguration. It was written about D.C., and it's Bourgeois Town from Leadbelly.
So, Leadbelly was an incredibly important figure from the first wave of the folk music boom in this country. He and Woody Guthrie are usually held up as the two father figures of the folk revival movements. And the story I'd heard about this song is that Leadbelly was treated bad in the segregated D.C. area. And I can't remember now whether it was Alan Lomax or John Lomax. Do you remember?
I thought it was his manager. I mean,
John Lomax was basically his manager.
And his manager said, "Yeah, this is a bourgeois town."
Yeah, right? Leadbelly was complaining about it, and I think Alan Lomax said, or John Lomax said, "Oh, you don't want to go there anyway because it's a bourgeois town."
And he goes, "What's bourgeois?"
Yeah,
and then he told him the definition, and then he came up with the song.
So there's lots of great versions of this song, but we're going to hear the original, scratchy old version of Leadbelly doing it with his big 12-string guitar. And my pick for this throwback segment doesn't go back anywhere near as far, but Gil Scott-Heron had this great soulful song, Winter in America, I believe was the title song of one of his albums too. And I'm thinking about how it feels like that kind of American decline, that we're in this period now, especially with T. Rump in the White House, where it just feels like we're ceding our position of leadership in the world. And that time in the 70s when Gil Scott-Heron did this song, it's the time of Watergate and the end of the Vietnam War, and the American cities just falling apart with drugs and crime. And so to me, that sense of disintegration of our national fabric speaks to me about this time too. I hope I'm wrong.
What's truly amazing about both of about that time you're talking about? It's like I just thinking about all the times throughout, even just looking at the 20th century when Americans felt this way. I mean, again, when we were talking about earlier in the show, 1917, but you go to 1920, 21, 22, like the Teapot Dome scandal, and the temperance movement was not working, and it was like all this bootlegging, and you get you really see how the I don't want to call it mob, but I mean there was this underworld that was really coming into power and really having an effect on the government.
So you're saying that America's always falling apart? Is that
it seems like it's always falling apart and always being great. I mean, can you think of a worse time than 1927? For the whole country. And my dad tells me stories used to tell me, gone now, but he used to tell me stories about. He was 3 when that happened, and he and his 4 brothers had to sleep in the same bed. I mean, my dad was poor when he was a kid, but being poor and then having poor dumped on top of you,
it is a helpful perspective, of course, to have, because when we feel down about just how bad things are, that, you know, and a lot of times people are missing that perspective of thinking just how bad things have been at other times, and politically too. I mean, I was just reading again about the blacklist period, and and that was just a horrible time for so many people, including people that we talk about here, like Pete Seeger, who were blacklisted, and you know, so surviving through that time when people literally weren't even allowed to do the work that they did for pay because of their politics.
Well, it's when Paul Robeson, who we mentioned earlier, also moved to Russia, which was very controversial.
Right, definitely.
And it's going back to the 20s. I was thinking that's also the Dust Bowl. I mean, that's so we fell apart. I mean, and then out of the rubbles of that became the strongest and biggest economy in the world the world has ever seen, and the true birth of the middle class, and
to connect this all with music too, even through all of those hard times, or maybe especially in those hard times, there was incredible songs. You know, there were incredible pieces written in response to the times.
Yeah, and so here they are, our throwback.
Listen, young people, listen to me. Don't try to buy no home down in Washington, D.C., cause it's a Bourgeois town. Bourgeois town. I got a Bourgeois blues, I'm gonna spread it all around. Me and my sweet wife and Miss Monica run all over that town. Everywhere we go to people, they would turn us down, Lord, in a Bourgeois town. Ooh, it's a Bourgeois town. I got the Bourgeois blues, I'm gonna spread it all around. Some white folks in Washington, they know just how. Jungle colored man a nickel just to see him by, Lord, in the Bourgeois town. Ooh, it's a Bourgeois town. I got the Bourgeois blues, I'm gonna spread it all around. Sweet wife Martha was standing up there. Heard a white man say, I don't want no Negroes up there. He was a Bourgeois man. Woo, living in a Bourgeois town. I got a Bourgeois blues, I'm gonna spread it all around. This is the home of the brave, the land of the free. I don't want to be mistreated by no bourgeoisie, Lord, in a Bourgeois town. Ooh, it's a Bourgeois town. I got a Bourgeois blues, I'm gonna spread the news all around.
From the Indians who welcome the pilgrims, and to the buffaloes who once ruled the plain, like the vultures circling beneath the dark clouds, looking for the rain, looking for the rain. Just like the cities that stagger on the coastline, and a nation that just can't stand much more. Like the forest buried beneath the highway, never had a chance to grow. Never had a chance chance to grow. And now it's a winter. Winter in America. Yes, and all of the healers have been killed or sent away. Yeah, but the people know it's winter. Winter in America. And ain't nobody fighting, 'cause nobody knows what to say. Save your soul, Lord knows, from winter in America. The Constitution, a noble piece of paper, with free society, a struggle but they died in vain. And now democracy is a ragtime on the corner, hoping for some rain. They look like either hoping for some rain. And I see the robins perched in barren treetops. They're watching last-ditch races marching across the floor. But just like the peace sign that vanished in our dreams, never had a chance to grow. Never had a chance to grow. And now it's winter. It's winter in America. And all of the healers have been killed or betrayed. Yeah, but the people know it's winter. Lord knows it's winter in America. And ain't nobody fighting, 'cause nobody knows what to say. Save your soul from a winter in America. Stick. And now it's winter. Winter in America. And all of the healers done been killed or sent away. Yeah, the people know it's winter. Winter in America. And ain't nobody fighting, 'cause nobody knows what to say. And ain't nobody fighting, 'cause nobody knows. And ain't nobody fighting, 'cause nobody knows what to say.
Christine Lavin is a wonderful singer-songwriter who's been working for many years, since the 80s, has had a lot of songs that other people have done, and she's also fostered and encouraged generations of young songwriters in New York and around the country. She's particularly known as a very funny lady, both in her songs and in the presentation of her songs. But she's one of an increasing number of songwriters that's felt called to write a political song or political music since the election. And we're going to hear an interview that we did with her where she talks about that and hear that song that I mentioned.
I don't specifically try to write political or write funny. Whatever comes out, comes out. One of the things that Dave Van Ronk said to me years ago that haunts me to this day, which I have repeated many times, is that it is very hard to write a good political song, and it is very easy to write a bad one. It's very interesting. I actually wrote it on an Amtrak train between New York City and Rochester, and I recorded it. The very first time I recorded it was on that same train. I also wanted to do a song that didn't say the name Trump because I really loathe the man so much. I lived in New York for 40 years, so we're used to living with him and his crazy headlines and his crazy narcissism and his crazy pretending he's his own publicist kind of thing. New Yorkers, I mean, that's why he never even attempted to win over New York City or New York State, because we know him. And I've done shows now where there's Trump people in the audience who've yelled out at me, "Oh, you're going to be surprised. Wait, oh, you're going to be so surprised what he's going to do. He's going to make America great again." And I stop and I say, you know what? I would love to be surprised. He's my president too. I don't want to see him fail, but I know too much, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't.
There's a storm on the horizon, skies are blustery and gray. All hands on deck, anchors away. The captain says full steam ahead, you can trust in me. Now we're hanging on for dear life between the devil and that deep blue sea. His crew are all landlubbers, his sons and his daughter. None of them has spent time on this kind of water. He's never piloted a ship, he does not want advice. As he heads into the storm, I guess he'd rather roll the dice. And when it all goes wrong, we can't say we weren't warned. When it all goes wrong, when we're overtaken by the storm. When it all goes wrong, when he drives this ship aground, we'll throw captain and crew overboard, then turn the ship around. Bitter batten down the hatches as the ship of state will drift. We never know exactly when and how his mood will shift. He can't focus on the ocean, he can't focus on the land. Our captain's so distracted by what's tweeting in his hand. Pirates lurking on the waves, hackers in the wires. Love the way he jabbed his finger when he said you're fired, as if those words entitled him to lead this bloodless coup. I look forward to the day we say those words to you. When it all goes wrong, we can't say we weren't warned. When it all goes wrong, when we're enveloped by the storm. When it all goes wrong, when he drives that ship aground, we'll throw captain and crew overboard, then turn the ship around. Okay, we'll throw you life preservers so you do not drown, but we're gonna throw you overboard, then turn the ship around.
So that was Christine Lavin, and I like that song. I
do too.
And I particularly like also wanted I particularly wanted to just talk a little bit about the comment that she said that Dave Van Ronk made, and about it's really easy to write a it's very hard to write a good political song and very easy to write a bad one, and there are a lot of bad ones.
It's true, yeah. And I also I feel like there's a lot of people who, because they've heard bad political songs, they use that to paint with a broad brush all political music.
Yeah.
And instead of being distinguishing and saying, this is a good one, this is a bad one, they're just like, political music is bad. People shouldn't do that. You know, and I think that's wrong, because there's certainly bad songs that have no political content as well. And then they don't even have their heart in the right place. They're not even trying to do anything. So I'm not saying that people should get credit for writing a bad political song, but at least they're trying,
Yeah.
you know?
and you know, it just dawned on me. I think we talked about it a little bit this in the first half of, in part one of this, we talked about, I think I did raise the Tom Petty song about the LA riots and a couple of other things. I don't remember. Maybe we talked.
I don't think you said that in the show. You told. We have so many conversations, Rodney and I, when we're not on the mics. That was.
So there's some examples of, and again, I love Tom Petty, and as a songwriter, I think he's absolutely brilliant. But there's an example of a song that just didn't work. The one about the riots in LA. And then there's a Lenny Kravitz one. And again, I think I'll err on the side of more pop and rock things that I'll pick out. I mean, I kind of forgive, I'm not going to play Sun City. It's not a good song. I love
there
the
were
sentiment.
some good songs as part of that project, though,
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
But then you look at a song like The Rising, and we just talked that we're going to do a show probably in the future about 9/11, and there's a really amazing song about 9/11 from, of course, Bruce Springsteen, who's a great songwriter. But I think one of the things, what makes a good, not even a good political song, but what makes a good song?
Whoa, that's a big question. I think maybe we should stick with the political song for you first started saying. But, you know, I think that there's a lot of different kinds of good political songs. I mean, I think a lot of times that the Christine Lavin one, I think part of what we like about it, or what I like about it, is that it uses this extended metaphor, this whole ship thing, and which connects well with the ship of state, and it's artfully done.
Yeah.
So as a song, in terms of the craft, it holds up.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's not that it's subtle or obscure in terms of getting the point across. It's clear, but it does it in a way where you can appreciate it as a song, and you can appreciate what it's saying.
And it's even though you say that it's clear, which I agree, it also doesn't beat you over the head like the Pussy Riot song that we heard earlier, which is like a hammer to your skull with a big axe. Like, you will understand what we're singing about now.
Right.
And
but some things can be elegantly simple. Like,
Yes.
I mean, I think that's a very hard thing to do. But like a lot of the anthems, "We Shall Overcome," "We Shall Not Be Moved," a lot of the things from the Civil Rights era and things from the labor, you know, a lot of those songs were simple. They were direct, but somehow they still worked. So there, you know, I think that some of the things that are, I guess maybe it's a difference between being simple and being simplistic. You know, that something can be simple and still beautiful or elegant or powerful. But if you feel like it's just a little too raw and simplistic, then that can turn us off.
It's a very challenging thing to really put a...
And of course it's subjective. Sometimes people don't agree about what
they don't
works
agree,
and what
but I
doesn't.
think there's also... one of the things I often say to my students, and I think that there's a couple of tests of whether something is good or not, and maybe I'll get in trouble for saying this, which could be a good thing. One of them is, and I think if I'm repeating myself, forgive me, but one is, does it do what it's set out to do? Does it achieve its goals? And one of my other ones is, does it stand the test of time? Like, how does it age? And that's a really difficult one, but I think it's also one of the tests to tell if something is great, and whether it's, you know, because I don't think you can really tell 100% in your own time how good something is. You can say you like it. You can say, hey, that really moved me, and I think it's a great piece of work. But I think it's time, because there's something about a great piece of work that has layers and depth that, even if it's simple, like, I could see, maybe I'm wrong, but I could see 300 years from now, people will still be singing "We Shall Overcome," because somewhere somebody's going to be oppressing somebody, and there's just nothing more powerful than that. I mean, who knows if English will be the dominant language at the time?
Right.
Probably you'll get translated into some other language.
It already has been sung in lots of languages. But, I would say, I just want to point out, there's a little bit of a contradiction between your two criteria, because I totally agree with both of them. But the first one is that we should judge things sort of by what they set out to do, which we talked about a little bit earlier. But if we're doing that, if what something sets out to do is to be of the times and specifically topical and not trying to stand the test of time, then we wouldn't say that that's a criteria for it being great. It's great for what it is for that moment, and it doesn't need to last because maybe the issue it's responding to is very short shelf life. So
I completely get what you're saying, although I would I don't have a musical response, but I have a literary one, and that would be Shakespeare. Because there's so much politics going on in all of those plays, and boy, do they stand the test of time, and boy, are some of those things timely, and not timely, right. Timeless. Sorry.
Well, I'm not saying that something that was written for a very topical reason can't stand the test of time. I'm just saying, if we're going to say that one of the criteria is that we're judging it by its own purpose. If the purpose is short-lived, then it doesn't have to stand the test of time in order to be serving
I
its
can see what
purpose.
you're saying. Like if we sat here and said, hey, let's write a song right now today about Comey, and
hopefully that wouldn't need to be sung in 5 or 10 years, or even 5 months.
I already have the hook. It's Comey, don't play that. Okay, see how bad the song is already? See how easy it is to write a bad political song?
Yes. But here is what I think is a really wonderful song by my friend Billy Jonas. And this is a song that he was at least spreading around right after the election. It's called More Love. And you'll hear some Hebrew in there, which is really just the Hebrew translation of the chorus phrase of did you put more love in the world today? I think it's a beautiful response to a lot of the hate and awful stuff that's going on, and we hope you enjoy it.
I've been wandering and I don't understand, stumbling around, blind and thirsty towards some promised land. But I remember once a whispering in my ear, everything you do from your heart will surely echo here. So I dance and sing that tune, pour my water on the ground and watch as roses bloom. Did you put more love in the world today? More love on your way to the setting sun. There is only one measure when you can honestly say, I put more love. I remember when we had to leave our home, middle of the night, running blind, we were so alone. We were grateful for the little that we had, cherishing the gifts and the care from every helping hand. Over time we came to see there's a simple path that leads to true prosperity. Did you put more love in the world today? More love on your way to the setting sun. There is only one measure when you can honestly say, I put more love. Simu simu ahavachem ba'olam. Simu simu ahavachem ba'olam. Simu simu ahavachem. Well, today I found a place I could not mend, sitting on the bed, holding hands with a faithful I told her that the whole thing shook my faith, wondering aloud if our striving was really all a waste. She said there is just one task, and all that matters is the answer when the question's asked. Did you put more love in the world today? More love on your way to the setting sun. There is only one measure when you can honestly say, I put more love. Simu, simu, ahavachem ba'olam. 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 Simu, simu,
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. If you're feeling battered by the news you read and the TV is making you blue, we all know life has never been a stroll down Fifth Avenue. But if some worry that the dream has died and nothing worthwhile is left, tell them that like a runner in a marathon race, we're catching a second breath. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. Rain or shine or in between, we're working on a living dream. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. We're not counting on a con man scheme, we're working on a living dream. When our journey began, our hearts were filled with the dreams that we carried inside. The sun shone red on the road ahead and the pipe looked 10 lanes wide. Now the road is narrow and it wiggles and bends and a rock slide bars the way. But the dream will flower in the final hour when we carry the rubble away. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. Rain or shine or in between, we're working on a living dream. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. We're not counting on a con man scheme, we're working on a living dream. As the world grows smaller and time grows short and the walls come a-tumbling down, gotta tackle that U.S. war machine, it's the highest wall in town. There's the wall that separates rich from poor and other parts black from white. There's lots to do, both old and new, so do the right thing right. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. Rain or shine or in between, we're working on a living dream. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. We're not counting on a con man scheme, we're working on a living dream. If they made a movie of your life, my friend, you would shine like a Hollywood star. You never have shirked the difficult work, you've made life better by far. So if for a time it's 2 steps back, no time to weep and mourn. It's the people's hour, let's fight the power and carry that dream on home. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. Rain or shine or in between, we're working on a living dream. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. We're not counting on a con man scheme, we're working on a living dream. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. Rain or shine or in between, we're working on a living dream. Catch a second breath. Catch a second breath. Life is hard, but life is green
We're working on a living dream.
That was Catch a Second Breath by Bernice Diskin, a songwriter that you probably haven't heard a lot of songs from, but I wish you would because she has a lot of really wonderful songs. And that song is really the song that I wanted to sing right after the election. I felt that was the song I needed because I felt demoralized, as many of us did. And I felt that message of we need to sort of re-energize ourselves and remember that this is a long distance race and not a short, sprint was just exactly the message that I felt, I needed.
That's very cool.
So that was me and Jenny and Rodney doing that.
Yay. And I just wanted to say about the previous song, More Love, and the song we're about to play to close out the show. And I'll try to do it briefly and not get on my high horse. But I think that when you really think about what it means to be truly connected to someone and truly and human, there is no other word that really describes it as love. And I think that it's sometimes people can minimize that or make it seem trite or make it seem like, oh, they're just talking about love. But no, I think John Lennon said it, all you need is love, but he wasn't talking about romantic love or the love of your pet, or which are all very powerful, or the love of, like, I love my scooter, I love riding my motorbike. But it's that universal love, that kind of love that you don't need to be anything other than who you are to receive it or to give it. And it's this human thing that connects us all. So I think when people are, when the singers are singing that stuff, and maybe this is obvious to most people listening and it doesn't need to be pointed out, but I just think that it's important to know that there's so much meaning behind those words when someone sings them. I mean, it was the love of people that drove Martin Luther King to do what it did. It's not like a romantic love. It was the love of humanity. And that, I know it sounds grandiose and over the top and, oh boy, I'm on a high horse, but
it's true, right?
Yeah.
But I think once again, like we were saying before with political songs in general, sometimes people use those images of love in a song and it really works and it feels sincere and it feels real. And sometimes it does feel trite,
Yeah.
And I think these examples, though, that the Billy Jonas song is an example, and the one we're about to play, where people are using those images in a way, at least that resonates for me and really works, and it's this idea. I think the thing is, we're talking about love as opposed to hate, which is what is being espoused by T. Rump and some of the people who support him. So it has a power, it has a punch to it. It's not just sort of, oh, let's all hold hands and sway back and forth. It's like we're holding up love as a counter to something. And
it's a power.
Yeah,
like Gandhi, like Martin Luther King, like Jesus. I could go down the list. Good company to be in. So we're going to close out the show with a song about love.
Yeah, so this is Melanie DeMore, who's a wonderful choir leader and songwriter in the Bay Area. And she wrote this song, Lead with Love, right after the election, the next day after the election. We've got a bunch of that in this show. And this is really a version where she immediately put it out there, like on YouTube, Facebook, just so that people could learn the song. And it's part of this whole rising tide of songs that are meant for people to sing together at rallies and stuff. It's not necessarily the kind of thing that people are performing for other people, but it's more for everybody to sing together, which we need. And it hasn't really been the kind of thing a lot of songwriters were focusing on, in recent years. And it's rising again. And I think that's a good thing to see.
Yes. So here is Lead with Love.
Here's my song, Put One Foot in Front of the Other. And the verses are call and response. And here's how it goes. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared, and I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. And lead with love. And lead with love. There you go. That's the song. I love you.
So that was Lead with Love by
Melanie DeMore.
And we here at Music for the New Revolution would like to encourage our listeners, if they have an idea for a song or a professional songwriter feels so moved to just record something and throw it up there, send it to us. Whether it's something you record just on your phone or on GarageBand or however you find a way to record it and send it over. We'd love to hear it and love to share it with everyone because, historically there's some great protest and politically oriented songs that just come from people. And
I think they all come from people.
Boy,
I ain't heard no horses sing them.
I can be classist, can I? Or I don't know if it's classist or, yes, because musicians aren't people. We're a special breed. We're separated from the lay people because we're artists. Yes. Okay, so I just need to go get some more training, and I'll be back next time with Music for the New Revolution. I'm Rodney Whittenberg.
I'm David Heitler-Klevans.
Thanks for listening. Music for the New Revolution is written, edited, and produced by Rodney Whittenberg and David Heitler-Klevans. It's recorded and engineered at Melody Vision Studios in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. All music used in this program is for promotional and educational purposes only. Our theme song was composed by Jason Wang Shing. Find out more information about Music for the New Revolution on our Facebook page. I'm Rodney Whittenberg.
I'm David Heitler-Klevans.
And thanks for listening to Music for the New Revolution.
The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised.